How's it going, YouTube? It's Pilot Flame, and we are back with Game Week 8 for Fantasy Premier League week, just before the international break. We're going to go through how my team did in Game Week 7. We're also going to see what transfers I may or may not have already made, and who makes way and who comes in the fixtures leading up. And we'll go through the clean sheets, differentials, as well as my predictions for each game, and who we're going to captain and who we're going to vice captain and who we're going to bench and who we're going to start. So without further ado, let's get right into it. We got the new art running today. Let me know you guys' thoughts on that. The text on the just below me there is going to be the same, hopefully, as the text on that side over there. So I've just used a different one for the time being, but it looks nice nonetheless. It looks a little bit different. So we're running with that. So as you can see, my team on the screen right now, we have we had 45 points overall. The game week wasn't great for us. 51 was the average. I thought it'd be a little bit lower. It wasn't. The only way we would have been on average is if we would have captained De Bruyne. Again, still not what we're looking for. We're looking to be above the average so that we can climb those ranks. Overall, obviously Rico getting a 0, that obviously doesn't help. So I do have the one thing that we can go through first before we go through the actual points is I have my my tweet that I put out. I'm just gonna move it over just a little bit here, so hopefully you guys can still see it there. Predictions for Game Week 7. It's just covering up over Salah just a little bit. But we'll scroll down and we can actually move it over just a little bit more. So if we run through the predictions, I'm gonna keep my tally because I had it from last week. We did better last week than we did in the previous week. So Game Week 6 was better than Game Week 7. So if we go through it, we got the result right for the Liverpool game. We said 4-1 to Liverpool. Liverpool actually kept a clean sheet in it, which was good for anyone who had Liverpool defenders. But we got the result right there. The result was also right in the Aston Villa Burnley game. It was just 2-2 rather than 1-1. So we got an extra point there, so that makes 2 points. So far so good. We got the Bournemouth West Ham result exactly right, with the Callum Wilson scoring off a horrendous mistake by West Ham in the dying stages to make it 2-2 apiece. So we actually get 3 points for that, which is quite nice. Chelsea, we got the result right on that as well. We said 3-1. It ended up being 2-0. We also have Norwich Crystal Palace. That was our first wrong result. We said Norwich 2-1. Crystal Palace ended up winning 2-0, so we don't get any points for that. Spurs, we got the result right there, almost getting the correct score, although it could have been easily a draw with the likes of Aurier getting sent off. Unlucky for Aurier managers, as he had a goal disallowed, and then he had in the previous week, and then was sent off this week, last week just gone. So we did get the result right, so that we get a point there for that. We said Wolves Watford to be 1-1. It was 2-0 Wolves. Wolves obviously bouncing back from their bad run of form recently, especially in Europa League. So that we got the result wrong in that. We said Man City 4-0 rather. So a win for Man City. So we got 1 point for that because we got the result right. It was 3-1. They didn't keep a clean sheet. Leicester, we said 3-0. We got that right in the result, but not the amount of goals that were going to be scored. So we got another point there. And then we said United would win 2-1. They did not. They drew, so we got the result wrong there. So we get 1 point for the Liverpool one, 1 point for the Aston Villa game, 3 points for the Bournemouth West Ham game, 1 point for the Chelsea game to make 6. We get 1 point for the Spurs game to make 7. We get 1 point for the City game to make 8, and 1 point for the Leicester game to make 9. So not as many as last week. We got 10 last week, but we did get more results right, which is a better trend. We want to be getting more of the results right. So if we think Spurs is going to win, as an example, this week coming up, and Spurs do win, then we're getting those right rather than the exact score. Exact score is going to be harder to do, but getting those right is obviously better. So overall, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 results right, and mainly with the United one, which is more of a hope and see. But no, what I should have gone with was with what my first mine was, which was a 2-2. And then we go to our clean sheet and differentials. Clean sheet, Leicester, and we had Schmeichel in goal, so we compare those two up, so those were right. We had Mendy, didn't play, unfortunately, went back to Zinchenko after being dropped completely from the squad. That was a bit of an odd one. Son for Spurs, did good, he got an assist. And Greenwood for Manchester United, didn't play, really. He was projected to start, and then they rushed Rashford back, and then who wasn't great in the game for the most part. I feel like he's just been rushed back just because we want him back instead of playing Mason Greenwood. Obviously, Mason started in midweek, but overall United's midfield just does not move the ball from defense into attack, and people are dropping way too deep. You saw the likes of Juan Mata in the game versus AZ Alkmaar. Dropping into the center circle, picking up the ball. It's like you should have the center backs push forward, have the midfield push forward, quick from back to front, and we're just not seeing that with United right now. So overall, let's get a custom color here. Do we have a nice lime? Yeah, there we go, nice lime. So we got that one partially right. We got that one partially right. We got that one exactly right. We got that one partially right. We got that one wrong. We got that one partially right. We got that one wrong. We got that one partially right. We got that one partially right. And we got that one wrong. That was a good pick. That was a good pick. That was not. That was a good pick. That should have been a good pick, but it wasn't. So overall, quite good. We only got 5 things out of the potential 15 wrong. So 2/3, 2 and 3, not bad, not bad. We'll take it. We'll take it. As for this week, it's going to be a different story, I think. Going to be a different story. So let's see how my team did in after looking at those fixtures. So we'll just move this up a little bit here. So we have Pope in goal, obviously only getting 1 point. Didn't get any save points. I believe he got only 2 saves total in the game. 1 save, sorry. And then obviously conceded 2, so only 1 point from him. Robertson with the clean sheet, didn't get bonus points, was very close to it though. Even though I thought he played better than Trent, somehow he didn't get bonus points. I thought he did quite well. They exposed Trent a lot actually in the Sheffield United game. Basically every time they got the ball back, they would just ping it in behind to McBurney and just have him running behind, because Trent defensively is average at best. Otamendi, obviously, they didn't keep a clean sheet, and he got a yellow card, so only just a 1 point for him. Soyuncu, looking quite good for us, got a clean sheet, has another good run of fixtures after the Liverpool game. We're not going to hopefully play him this week, but he may come off our bench if certain players don't play. Rico obviously conceded 2 goals to West Ham and got a yellow card, making him have 0, but the manager has spoken highly of him this week in the press conference, so hopefully we expect to see a little bit better from him, especially against Arsenal, which they are away at the Emirates for this week. And we're going to be looking at interchange maybe him and Lundstrom or him and Soyuncu, depending on what the fixture is. So if we look at game week 11 and game week 14, and we map that with Lundstrom's 11 and 14. Lundstrom has Burnley at home, and then 14 with Wolves away, so probably it's better we can interchange them there, which is a quite nice system that we have going. On to the midfield, I'm going to pair up Cantwell and Pukki at the same time. Obviously, terrible away from home and only scoring at home, so basically maybe something to where we may only have to play these guys at home, and luckily for us, they have a nice home fixture versus Aston Villa. And then they play United in game week 10. Which means they'll probably score. Yeah, Cantwell's flagged. He has a bit of a hamstring problem. Whether he plays or not, we'll have to. The manager's kind of still iffy on it. He says we'll have to see. Pukki obviously, hopefully looking to get back on the score sheet this week. But we're keeping him in because he's budget and he's still a good asset. Son was somebody who I basically got my value out of. I got him for the fixtures that I basically wanted him for. Spurs have been pretty bad. He's also been played quite heavily in the Champions League. Brighton away is, in theory a good fixture, but Spurs are also having trouble of keeping it stable at the back, and as well as like consistently creating a large number of chances. I mean, Bayern Munich put 7 past them, so who knows? I'm jumping off the Spurs ship, as you'll be able to see from my team, and I just don't think that at that value that Son's going to be able to provide, especially with his fixtures turning. After the Watford home game, has Liverpool away, Everton away, Sheffield United at home is not going to be an easy task. They're going to be up for that game. West Ham away. West Ham can score quite a few goals and have been defensively okay this season. Bournemouth's looking decent, and then United away. Spurs seem to always play bad against United, so it's something that we'll have to kind of see. And we always have the wild card in our back pocket in the event that Spurs flick the switch and get back to winning ways. We'll pair Sterling and De Bruyne up. De Bruyne expected to be back after the international break, so he's not going to be in for this Wolves at home fixture, but he will be back for these nice 3 here. Obviously getting I believe it was a goal and assist, if I remember correctly. 2 assists, sorry. 2 assists, 1 bonus point. And didn't keep clean sheet, sorry. And then Sterling got a goal, and then got 85 minutes played. It's looking lively again. It's doing quite nice with that. He always seems to look a lot better when it's him in the team and he has like Mahrez on the team, because he gets to play on his favorited left-hand side, and he gets to basically stay out there the entire game and cut in, and he's able to make the back post runs with Mahrez potentially swinging the ball in. Whereas Bernardo Silva tends to drift inside. They tend to shift the formation more to the middle, and Sterling kind of gets clogged up in there on the left-hand side. This is just from what I've seen. So with Bernardo Silva potentially seeing a 6-game ban due to inappropriate behavior, as it were, with one of his teammates and posting it on Twitter. We won't go into the details. Everyone knows what that's all about. But he could be facing a 6-game ban, and with De Bruyne out, you'll most certainly guarantee to see Sterling start, as well as Riyad Mahrez. You'll probably see the likes of Gundogan come into the midfield. So you could see a City lineup that looks something along the lines of some left back, Fernandinho and Otamendi, one of the right backs, obviously with Ederson in goal, have a midfield of Rodri, Gundogan, and David Silva, or even the likes of Phil Foden come in. And then almost certainly you're going to see Sterling, Mahrez, and Aguero, because those are the 3 forwards that they have at the moment, along with potentially Gabriel Jesus coming off the bench. But Mahrez has been playing quite well. He's been doing well, scoring points, and he's been, when he's come on, he's made an impact, which is something that obviously Pep would probably want to see. And then Salah's fixture this week got Leicester at home. Only got the they only had the 1 goal in the game, which wasn't scored by anyone really important. Wijnaldum, and it was no assist on it as well. So, yeah, just we can see that Sheffield United is going to be a tough fixture, so nobody can take it lightly. So we'll hope that he can return this week versus Leicester, because Soyuncu is almost certainly going to be our 3rd player on our bench. And then obviously Button didn't play. Greenwood got his 1 point off the bench. Wickham is still out due to match fitness, according to FPL. He's just come back from an injury that's put him out for a little while. And then Lundstrom obviously getting just the 2 points versus Leicester. So, if we go to our current team setup, as you can see, we have made quite a few changes. Seems the camera has. There we go. It's fixed itself. Made quite a few changes here. So we've done away with Son, we've done away with KDB, and we've also done away with our good friend up front, Wickham. And we've brought in the likes of Riyad Mahrez, we brought in the likes of Mason Mount, and we brought in the likes of Tammy Abraham. And this is for a -8. So I had no free transfers going into this week. Or I had the one rather. I used up both of them last week. considered the wild card, considered it, but then I thought the Riyad Mahrez was kind of a last minute kind of change. I can still potentially hit the wild card if I wanted to, but I'm kind of thinking away from it because I got pretty much all the players that I wanted for this week, and we can always readjust after the international break because, you know, who knows, people could get injured. We may want to reshuffle some things to move some stuff up front. We'll have to see. Because obviously having Otamendi means I can't have the likes of Mahrez, Sterling, Aguero up front as an example. If I wanted to go that route, you know, or maybe KDB, Otamendi, Aguero instead of Sterling. Who knows? We'll have to kind of see. So currently we obviously have Pope in goal because Button's not going to play, and even if he did, we want to play Pope versus Everton rather than Button versus Spurs. We then have Robertson at home to Leicester. We have Otamendi at home to Wolves. Lundstrom away to Watford, as that is the better fixture. I'm considering playing Greenwood, but I just don't think he's going to play. I just really don't think he's going to play. And I think that Lundstrom has a better chance, especially if you look at their resilience away from home. Only conceding 1 to Bournemouth. Kept a 2-2 with Chelsea. 1-2-0 at Everton. Only losing they were at home to Liverpool, and they only lost 1-0, you know. And then Leicester they only lost 2-1. You know, they're keeping games really close, so I think Lundstrom's going to do good. We do have Greenwood first because if he does play, Newcastle is, let's face it, Newcastle's not great at the moment. Even though they're a very nostalgic team, they're a very historical team. We'd obviously like to see them get back to winning ways. Because they're a good team to have in the Premier League, you know, just visually and brand-wise. With obviously the likes of St. James's Park being such a historical ground. You don't want those types of teams leaving the Premier League because they bring a certain draw to the league. Except Mike Ashley. He can go elsewhere. And I'm pretty sure the likes of True Geordie and all the other Newcastle fans probably would vouch for the same notion. We then have Rico second on our bench, and then Soyuncu third. So in the midfield we have Cantwell, who might not play because obviously with that groin problem. Obviously Mason Mount goes straight in there. Mahrez is in there. Sterling currently on with the captaincy, with Salah with the vice captain, Abraham and Pukki leading the front line. I'm tempted to put the vice captain on Mahrez, but I think I'll just leave it for this for now, because I think this Sterling is like he has to play, and Salah is also going to play, assuming no late injury news of some kind. We're going to keep the bench as is because if Greenwood does play, he's probably the most likely to get something. Rico will probably concede to Arsenal because Arsenal score quite a few goals. They just can't keep him out. And then Soyuncu, obviously we don't want to play Salah versus Soyuncu. Even though Leicester have done quite well, but they played against Man United and they dropped the ball a little bit. Let's be honest here. United wasn't great. Leicester was even worse. Obviously coming off a 5-0 victory over Newcastle. Leicester are going to be looking to keep their winning way and prove that they could be pushing for the top 4 this season. So if we go down to the fixtures for this week, we're gonna bring up a notepad here. We're gonna bring up a notepad and we're gonna put it up along the side here where we can all see it. Alright. So we got Brighton versus Spurs. We have Burnley versus Everton. We have Liverpool versus Leicester. We have Norwich at home to Aston Villa. We have Watford at home to Sheffield United. West Ham versus Crystal Palace. And then on the Sunday, we have the early game is Arsenal versus Bournemouth. Man City versus Wolves. Southampton versus Chelsea. And then Newcastle versus Manchester United. Actually just realized there's 3 games at the same time at 10 o'clock my time. That's been interesting. So, if we're looking at it here, so Brighton versus Spurs. I think with Spurs' current form, I don't think this is going to be very good for Spurs because they can't keep. It doesn't seem like they're scoring a crazy amount of goals, especially for teams that sit back. They do a little bit better, obviously, than United, but I don't see it being something to where they can really just slam Brighton. If we go, let's actually go take a look here. So I'm gonna put this. Actually, no, we'll leave that there. We'll leave that there. We'll go here. We'll go to transfers, and we'll look at Brighton. So let's see how Brighton's been doing. So if we look at Brighton at home, 1-1 draw to Burnley. They lost 2-0 to Southampton, and they have the 1-1 with West Ham. Newcastle obviously a 0-0. Chelsea away. Obviously Chelsea's doing, doing what Chelsea does, which is gonna be beating a lot of teams soon. Obviously taking 4 against Man City is obviously not great. Winning 3-0 away to Watford. So kind of mixed bag. But Brighton's a team that on their day can just be a nuisance and just end up doing something to whereas it's not against better opposition. We see this fixture on paper, you may think, oh yeah, Harry Kane hat-trick, but I think this is going to end up being a pretty stale 1-1 in my opinion. Burnley versus Everton. I think Everton suck, and I think this could be a nice 2-0 victory. Actually, we'll go 2-1 to Burnley. But I can see Burnley getting the result there. Liverpool versus Leicester. I think Liverpool will do what they normally do against teams that try to have some form of presence attacking wise. They'll score a few goals. Leicester may be getting a return on a counter-attack after Liverpool has already established the lead. And I think that one's going to be 3-1. Norwich versus Aston Villa. I can see nothing more than a Norwich 2-0 win over Aston Villa. With Watford versus Sheffield United, I think Sheffield United could have another upset here. I'm going to go with 2-1 Sheffield United. I just see them having that grit and determination like they do away from home. And just being an overall nuisance to certain teams, because Watford is going to try to attack. They're not going to sit back. And that's exactly, excuse me, what Sheffield United want. West Ham versus Crystal Palace. I think Crystal Palace were fortunate that Norwich kind of played under par last week. I see West Ham winning this game 2-0. Arsenal versus Bournemouth. Bournemouth like to score. Arsenal like to score. So I can see this being a high-scoring game. I'm going to go with an emphatic 3-2 victory for Bournemouth over Arsenal. I just think defensively, even at home, they haven't been great. It just depends on who they play down the back. If they play the likes of Holding and Chambers, they'll probably be a lot better. Maybe closer fair, maybe a 1-1 or 2-1 in either favor. But I'm going to go with a high-scoring game if they decide to still play Socrates and Luiz. If Tierney's back, obviously that probably helps them out a lot. But we'll go with a 3-2. We like to see a thriller. Man City versus Wolves. Man City's going to win this game 3-0. I just don't think Wolves are very creative at all. They like to just sit back, and City's just going to pick them apart all day, and I don't see them scoring. Southampton versus Chelsea. Chelsea aren't the greatest at the back, but I still think that they're obviously going to come out with a victory. I think 3-1 Chelsea. And then Manchester United versus Newcastle. This has the most 1-1 draw written all over it. I just see it being a draw, unfortunately. That's just how I see it. And now we're going to go with the clean sheet. We have the clean sheet, we have the goalkeeper, we have the defender, the midfielder, and the forward. Clean sheet this week. Well, I have to pick one of the 3 teams that I presumably picked, but I'm almost convinced that Norwich is going to bounce back this week. So we're going to go with Norwich for the clean sheet. In goal, who are we going to pick this week? It's a tough one. Actually, I believe Fabianski, if I remember correctly, he is out. So, if we just look at the transfers here, we're going to go to West Ham. Fabianski is out, so Roberto, 0.5% owned. 0.5% owned, Roberto from West Ham United. We'll put him in goal there for sure. That seems to could be a good, nice, easy clean sheet there. In terms of defenders, it's a bit tough. Maybe the likes of Diop, maybe the likes of Fredericks. You know, Brian Fredericks, he's been playing pretty much every game. Maybe a Cresswell. You know, he's been doing quite well. So we'll do that. We'll go with Cresswell. The likes of Cresswell is what we'll go with. Into the midfield. Who do I see being good here? So it's going to be someone that's going to need to create a good bit of chances for their team. It's going to be someone who's going to be instrumental into potentially breaking down a team. I can see this may be a pretty boring pick, but I can see the likes of maybe a McNeil or a Goodmunson, somebody like that, potentially providing something in the midfield. I'm gonna go with. Oh, Goodmunson hasn't been playing, so that's kind of bit shaky there. Cork's been out. Westwood, he's been playing a lot. Probably not great picks there, honestly. You know, I would say Cantwell, but obviously he's quite highly owned. Oh, screw it. We'll go with Riyad Mahrez. We'll go with Riyad Mahrez because he's a fairly low owned. He's almost certain to play. Showed what he's capable of. So yeah, we'll go with him. I think we'll go with him. And then if we go for forwards, you know, I think that obviously it's going to be a high-scoring game for the Bournemouth-Arsenal game. I think Arsenal's defense isn't great. We can look at the likes of maybe Callum Wilson, who's only 11% owned, or even the likes of the cheaper alternative, Josh King is someone in there. Even the likes of Harry Wilson in midfield could be quite nice. So yeah, we'll go with Wilson from Bournemouth to be our differential pick. You know, obviously not many people have been having him, even though he has returned in pretty much every game this season. He got an assist in his first 4 games. So he scored a goal and 3 assists, and then he got 2 goals, and then he got a goal scored, and then a goal scored. So he's literally returned in every game that he's played. So could be something to look out for. You know, he's been doing quite well for himself, really. And he's dropped in price when I had him. So yeah, we'll go with those for our differential picks and results for this week. So I'm just gonna move that over here. So let's go back to our current team. So yeah, that's going to be our current team for this week. The only thing I can think of potentially changing is the likes of the vice captaincy over to Mahrez. You know what? In fact, I will do that. I'm just going to put the vice captaincy because I'm pretty sure Sterling is going to play, so we'll just save that. Sterling is almost certainly going to play because the options that they have up front is, well, the people that they have potentially on the wing, they can't play Bernardo Silva because I don't think he can play because it's going through some type of appeal. And if he does play, he probably won't play well, so Pep will almost certainly keep him out of the team. They can play the likes of Phil Foden maybe up front or on the wings, you know, but that's not likely. So you're probably looking at Mahrez and Sterling almost certainly starting on the wings with Aguero or Jesus through the middle. So it's almost a sure shot thing. Obviously Mahrez playing really well in his last 2 games, so why not get the start? And like I said, these are were the 3 transfers I made. So I did Mason Mount, Mahrez, and Abraham into the team, and then I took out Kevin De Bruyne, Heung-min Son, and Wickham up front. So a little bit more value spread across the team, and probably a little bit more solid of a lineup, especially with the likes of Cantwell not potentially playing. De Bruyne is going to be obviously out after the international break. So worst case, hopefully Greenwood gets minutes and plays, and then if Cantwell comes out, then Greenwood goes on, and then we don't have to use Rico or Soyuncu, but pretty much everyone else is literally guaranteed to start. Don't see Pope not starting. Robertson will start. Otamendi will start. Mount, Abraham, Pukki, Salah, Sterling, Mars, almost all guaranteed to start. But with Pep Roulette, you never know. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this week. Hope everyone liked the stream. Make sure to follow. Obviously, you can see. Oh, wrong way. That way. Down in the bottom. Can't really do it that way. Somewhere down in the bottom corner. Make sure you follow us on Twitter to make sure you can keep up to date with when the streams are going live, or any posts of videos that are out on the channel. Make sure to give a follow on the stream as well as go over to the YouTube channel and check out some stuff there. You can see the links are down in the Twitch description, which will take you to my Twitch, my Twitter, all that sort of stuff as well. So yeah, that's gonna do it for us this week, and we hope that you enjoyed it. Once we get a little bit more interactive, we should see a lot more names popping up above us, and then if you also happen to like the stream and you want to, I'm very bad with angles here, but you may see your name over there. So yeah, thank you for joining us, and wherever you are in the world, have a good day, have a good night, and a good FPL week, and we'll see you in the next one. See ya!